It hit me like a physical blow. A shimmering mirage of absurdity in the already sweltering August heat. $12,000. For a pool. A pool I'd never laid eyes on. Never even heard of before that crisp, official-looking envelope landed on my porch. My jaw probably hung open. A fly could have buzzed right in. This has to be a mistake, I whispered, the paper crinkling in my trembling hands. But the name, emblazoned in bold, undeniable type, stared back at me. Karen, president of the Silver Creek Homeowners Association. And suddenly, my blood ran cold. The very notion was ludicrous. My modest bungalow, perched at the very edge of Silver Creek, was miles from what I vaguely recalled as the community clubhouse. A pool. Was there even a pool? Had I missed some crucial memo? Some subtle shimmer on the horizon that indicated a shimmering oasis of HOA-sanctioned leisure. Doubt gnawed at me. Then a fiery indignation erupted. How dare they? The sheer audacity. The unmitigated gall. I felt a sigh escape me. A long, weary exhalation that carried the weight of 1,000 unanswered questions. This wasn't just a bill. It was an insult. A direct challenge. And I, armed with nothing but righteous fury and a desperate need for answers, was about to accept it. My first port of call was the infamous Silver Creek HOA office. A place rumored to be colder than a tax auditor's heart. The fluorescent lights hummed with an almost malicious glee, casting stark shadows on the piles of perfectly organized, perfectly intimidating paperwork. And there she was, Karen. Her hair, a helmet of perfectly coiffed blonde, seemed to hum with an unspoken authority. Her eyes, narrowed slits, surveyed me with the disdain of a queen encountering a particularly troublesome peasant. Can I help you? Her voice, sharp as broken glass, cut through the oppressive silence. I held out the bill, my hand steady despite the furious tremor in my stomach. This $12. 000 charge. For the pool. I've never used it. I don't even know where it is. Karen merely arched a perfectly sculpted brow. A slow, condescending smile spreading across her lips. All residents are subject to the same dues. Dear, whether you choose to utilize the amenities or not is entirely your prerogative. Prerogative. My face flushed crimson. But $12. 000. That's an annual fee, isn't it? I've only lived here 6 months. Her smile didn't waver. Retroactive charges, late fees, administrative costs. It all adds up, doesn't it? Her words dripped with saccharine venom. A chilling performance. I walked out of that office feeling like I'd been run over by a steamroller and then politely informed it was my own fault. The injustice was a burning coal in my chest, igniting a resolve I hadn't known I possessed. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the principle. It was about every single resident who had ever been strong-armed by the Silver Creek HOA. Every whispered complaint about arbitrary rules and opaque finances. I started digging. Public records. Archived meeting minutes. Dusty blueprints from the local planning department. I scoured every scrap of information, fueled by lukewarm coffee and simmering rage. Days blurred into nights. The glow of my laptop screen becoming a constant companion. The first crack in Karen's meticulously constructed facade came from an unlikely source, an old, yellowed newspaper clipping I found buried in the digital archives of the town library. A small article, almost an afterthought, detailing the initial plans for Silver Creek. It mentioned a proposed community pool. Yes, but then, a crucial detail. The plan had been scrapped due to unforeseen geological issues. My heart hammered against my ribs. Scrapped. But the bills. The $12,000. It was a phantom pool. A monetary black hole. But then, a glimmer of hope. The article also mentioned a significant settlement from the original developer to the HOA for the inconvenience and the cost of maintaining the remaining community features. A settlement. I wondered, where did that money go? My investigation deepened. I traced the settlement funds through convoluted accounting ledgers. A digital breadcrumb trail leading to a maze of shell corporations and offshore accounts. It was mind-numbingly complicated. A financial tapestry woven with deceit. And then, the twist. A name surfaced repeatedly. An almost ghost-like figure, Mr. Henderson. He was listed as a consultant on numerous transactions. A name that sent a jolt of recognition through me. Mr. Henderson. The quiet, unassuming man who lived 3 doors down. Who always offered a kind word and a bag of his homegrown tomatoes. He was retired. Seemingly harmless. Could he be involved? A cold knot tightened in my stomach. I approached him cautiously. A bundle of printouts clutched in my hand. His eyes, usually twinkling with warmth, clouded over when I mentioned Karen and the HOA. He sighed. A deep, sorrowful sound that seemed to carry the weight of years. I knew it. He murmured, shaking his head. I knew she'd go too far. He then revealed a staggering truth. He had been the original Silver Creek HOA president. Years ago, before Karen's reign of terror, he had tried to expose her then, when she first started her fraudulent schemes, diverting funds, inflating budgets. But she had been too powerful, too ruthless. She'd framed him, using forged documents to make it look like he was the one siphoning funds, effectively silencing him and destroying his reputation. My breath hitched. Karen had not only fabricated a pool, she had ruined an innocent man's life. The bitter taste of injustice filled my mouth. This wasn't just about the $12,000 anymore. It was about vindication. Armed with Mr. Henderson's testimony and a mountain of irrefutable evidence, I scheduled an emergency HOA meeting. The community hall was packed, buzzing with nervous energy. Karen, seated at the head of the long table, exuded an aura of unassailable power. She wore a self-satisfied smirk, unaware of the storm brewing. My heart pounded a frantic rhythm against my ribs, but a quiet strength settled over me. This was it. Karen, I began, my voice clear and steady, cutting through the murmuring crowd. I have some questions about the Silver Creek finances. Her smirk tightened. Everything is in order. Dear, perhaps you should try attending our monthly transparency meetings if you have concerns. The condescension was palpable. Oh, I've been doing more than attending meetings, I retorted, pulling out the newspaper clipping. I've been doing my homework. And my homework tells me there's no pool. A ripple of gasps went through the room. Karen's eyes, for the first time, flickered with something akin to panic. That's an old article. Misinformation, she shrilled, her voice cracking slightly. We constructed a new pool after that. Really? I pressed, my voice rising, my confidence soaring. Because the architectural plans from the county office, dated last year, show no such construction. And the zoning permits, conveniently missing. And these, I said, scattering printouts of the fraudulent transactions across the table. These are financial records. Funds from the developer's settlement. Funds from our non-existent pool dues. Routed directly into accounts linked to you, Karen, and a certain consultant, Mr. Henderson, who, might I add, has been vindicated by this very evidence. The room erupted. A cacophony of shouts, gasps, and furious murmurs filled the air. Karen's face, usually so composed, contorted into a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. Lies. Slander. She screamed, her voice shrill and desperate, devoid of its usual polished control. She slammed her fist on the table, scattering papers. Her eyes darted around, searching for an escape, for a single sympathetic face. There were none. The air crackled with the weight of exposed truth. The once unflappable Karen was unraveling before our very eyes. Her carefully constructed empire of lies crumbling like a house of cards. Her breathing became ragged, her chest heaving. It was the frantic, trapped energy of a cornered animal. She tried to dismiss me, to regain control, but her words were swallowed by the rising tide of outrage. The whispers swelled, turning into shouts. Neighbors who had suffered in silence for years found their voices. Their grievances finally aired. My fence. She charged me double for my fence. My landscaping. She said it wasn't up to code. then had her brother's company do it for triple the price. The accusations rained down on Karen like an inescapable torrent. She stood, trembling, her blonde helmet of hair now slightly askew. Her usual icy composure shattered, revealing a raw, ugly fear. You can't do this," she stammered, pointing a trembling finger at me. "I'm the president. But her words died in her throat. Mr. Henderson, standing tall and resolute at the back of the room, cleared his throat. His quiet authority commanded immediate attention. "Karen," he said, his voice surprisingly firm. "The police are outside. They have a warrant for your arrest, based on the evidence collected, including my own sworn testimony." The air went out of the room, replaced by a stunned silence. Karen's face went ashen, her eyes wide with a terror that was almost pitiable. All the arrogance, all the smug superiority, drained from her features, leaving behind a hollow shell of a woman. She swayed, grabbing onto the table for support, her knees buckling. The perfectly coiffed hair seemed to droop, the sharp clothes suddenly too big. A defeated sigh escaped her, a sound of utter capitulation. It was over. The reign of HOA Karen had come to an ignominious, utterly deserved end. Justice, it seemed, had a way of finding its mark, even in the most bureaucratic of battlegrounds. The subsequent legal proceedings were swift and decisive. Karen was found guilty on multiple counts of fraud and embezzlement. The community rejoiced, not just at her downfall, but at the liberation from years of tyranny. The phantom pool funds, along with other misappropriated monies, were recovered and reinvested into genuine community improvements. The Silver Creek community, once fractured by distrust and fear, began to heal, coming together to elect a new, transparent HOA board. They even voted to finally build a beautiful, accessible pool, a symbol of newfound unity. As for me, I finally dipped my toes into the sparkling, cool water of the actual Silver Creek pool a few months later. The sun warmed my face. The laughter of children echoed around me, and a profound sense of peace settled in my soul. It wasn't just about the $12,000 I'd been wrongly charged. It was about standing up, speaking out, and refusing to be bullied. It was about proving that even the most seemingly insurmountable injustices can be overcome when people come together. My personal mark, a quiet determination, had been indelibly etched into the fabric of this community. It taught me that sometimes the biggest battles are fought not with fists, but with facts, persistence, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Now, I have to ask you, the reader, when you read this, do you think I was right to fight so hard? Or should I have just paid the bill? Was my fight righteous? Or was it just a tempest in a teacup? I truly wonder what you think.